Hey everyone, welcome to the Pace Studio in New York City. We're here with Colter Wall. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Your debut album, self-titled debut album, came out last Friday. Congratulations.
Right. Thank you.
You're going to play a couple songs from that record for us?
That is the plan.
All right. What's the first one you've got for us today?
The first one is actually the first song on the record. It's called 13 Silver Dollars.
And it's the first single?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
Whenever you're ready.
Cool.
It was a cold and cruel evening, sneaking up on Speedy Creek. I found myself sleeping in the snow. For one or two odd reasons I ain't too proud to repeat. For now we'll say I had no place to go. There was a rustle and a humming just hauling down the street. I drew myself up from my icy bed. Painted on that shiny car the letters RCMNP. I could feel a little aching in my head. And then out jumps this old boy about twice the size of me. He asked me for my name and where I dwell. And I just looked him in the eye and sang Blue Yodel number 9. He didn't catch the reference, I could tell. And then the old familiar click and the handcuffs bind and grip should have left me in the snow where I lay. Well, he just laughed and touched his gun and turning to me he said, "Son, I bet you don't own a damn thing to your name." I got my health, a John B. Stetson. I got me a bottle full of baby's bluebird wine. I left my stash somewhere down in Preston, along with 13 silver dollars in my mind. I got my health, a John B. Stetson. I got me a bottle full of baby's bluebird wine. I left my stash somewhere down in Preston, along with 13 silver dollars in my mind. Along with 13 silver dollars in my mind.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So one of your descriptors, as has been seen on the internet, which obviously means it's true,
Right.
is a 21-year-old Canadian millennial, which doesn't really sound very ripe for such deep South inspired country tunes.
Right.
How did that happen? What led you to this kind of music?
Well, I grew up listening to country music. I think a lot of people, from spending a lot of time in the States, I've noticed that a lot of folks down here are a little confused, I think, about how they think of Canada in that. I think a lot of folks think of it kind of as just one, like its own state kind of thing, but it really
so you
is,
mean it's not more than like Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver?
right? No, it's actually it's a big sprawling country, and every place you go is different. They have different cultures, just like it is here, and just like it would be in any country. And the part of Canada I grew up in is sort of, they call it it's sort of in the Midwest. We call it Western Canada, and it's I grew up in Saskatchewan, which is for anybody that doesn't know, is sort of right on top of North Dakota and Montana where they meet. And for anybody that doesn't know this, that's pretty wide open country out there, and there's there's not a lot of people, so it's a lot of rural communities and a lot of farmers and ranchers up there, and not really much else. So naturally, people really like country music up there, and I was kind of raised listening to that sort of stuff growing up in a small town pretty close to the Montana border up there in Saskatchewan. And so country music has been, a part of my life for almost as long as I can remember, growing up listening to it in the house. And that's sort of where that comes from. And the more, I guess, Southern folk stuff and blues and folk music and traditionals, that stuff I kind of had to do a little more research and find on my own. But as far as country and Western goes, that's sort of built into me just, from day one.
At what point did you realize that you wanted to go into music professionally?
That's a good question. I guess around my second year of pretending to be going to college was around the time I decided that I was going to stop pretending to be going to college and just drop out altogether, which I did eventually. And I decided that whether or not I could make a professional career out of it, I was going to pursue music and do whatever else I had to do to pay bills and stuff. But yeah, I guess around then is kind of when I decided I'm going to start to try to play shows for money and make it, if I can make a career out of it, then that'll be great. And if not, then I'll, I don't have any plans to stop.
Figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, good. And again, self-titled debut album out now. What's the next song you've got for us?
The next song I've got is a song called Motorcycle.
Motorcycle, wrap her pretty little frame around a telephone pole, ride her off a mountain like old Arlo. Figure I'll buy me a motorcycle. Well, I figure I'll walk to the liquor store, Thunderbird 2 bottles, maybe 3, maybe 4, follow my feet down the music road. Pour it on the pavement like you would a tombstone, like you would a tombstone, like you would a tombstone. Pour it on the pavement like you would a tombstone. I'm weary of feeling this way. Pop another pill, hop another train. Tell my brothers and my sisters that it's keeping me sane. Figure I'm weary of feeling this way. Well, I figure I'll buy me a motorcycle, wrap her pretty little frame around a telephone pole, ride her off a mountain like old Arlo. Figure I'll buy me a motorcycle. Figure I'll buy me a motorcycle. Figure I'll buy me a motorcycle.
Thanks.
Are you really weary, or do you have a good imagination? Where do these amazingly detailed, descriptive, narrative songs come from?
Well, that's a great question. I guess
Maybe
I'd
both.
probably
Both
say
is an acceptable
I guess
answer.
I'd say maybe a little bit of both, because I always kind of consider myself as a person with kind of a wild imagination, and I do I do write a lot of songs that that are certainly more fictional than they are autobiographical. But at the same time, I write, a lot of most of the songs on this new record are pretty true stories about personal experiences I've had. What I try to do when I write, especially if I'm sort of, if I'm telling more of a fictional story, then I try to take certain feelings or certain aspects about experiences I've had personally and find a way to incorporate them into these songs and these stories about other people, maybe that have kind of, come out of my head somehow, or people that aren't me. So, I guess, yeah, maybe a little bit of both. I consider myself a pretty imaginative guy, but at the same time, I've been through some stuff, I guess I'll say.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That makes sense. What's the last song you've got for us today?
The last song I'm going to play is a murder ballad called Kate McCannon.
I was actually going to ask you about murder ballads. I feel like it's a lost art in a way. Like, it has its place in old country western tunes.
Yeah.
Why decide to write a murder ballad in the 21st century?
Well,
what does it mean today?
I love old murder ballads and folk songs and old country songs. I think it's a wonderful tradition in that realm of songwriting that's kind of been forgotten to a certain extent. I think a lot of people aren't aware of that tradition, and because of that, I've caught a little bit of flack for, writing a murder ballad. And it's not like anyone that writes a song like Knoxville Girl or Willow Garden or Little Sadie. It's not like anybody that wrote those was condoning shooting a loved one or murdering anybody for that matter. It's just, it's a story.
Disclaimer acknowledged.
Yeah, it's just a good story, and it makes for I think great songs. It's a great subject. So I'm happy to try to write songs like that and try to do those old folk songs justice and kind of give them new life, I guess.
And continue that rich tradition.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, now that we've discussed, whenever you're ready.
Sure.
Raven is a wicked bird, his wings are black as sin. And he floats outside my prison window, mocking those within. And he sings to me real low, it's hell to where you go. For you didn't murder Kate McCannon. When I first met Tom McCannon, I was working in the mine. Said he had himself a dark-haired daughter with long green eyes. And when she and I did meet, she was bathing in the creek. Prettiest girl in the whole damn holler, that ain't no lie. So I went a-courting Kate McCannon. Got me a job and I quit my rambling. Every day I'd save a quarter of my pay. Till I could buy a diamond ring. One day I come home to find my darling angel's not inside. So I made for the creek where she and I didn't meet. Found her with some other lover. And I put 3 rounds into Kate McCannon.
Excellent. I think you honor that tradition well.
Thank you.
So going back to some of your other influences and stylistically and musically and narratively, you did some work with Robbie Turner, who used to work with Waylon Jennings. Steve Earle has endorsed you, and you cover a Townes Van Zandt song on your record.
That's right.
Are you playing Snake Mountain Blues live these days?
We've been working it up. I've recently been playing with a band, which has been really fun and a new thing. I've played solo for I guess most of my professional career, or whatever you want to call it. So to get to work with the bands has been really fun, and we've kind of worked that one up a few nights. It's a great song. And,
got a solo version handy that we could nudge you to play?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah? If you'd like to hear it, sure.
I'm wearing my Townes
shirt.
shirt.
You are wearing the Townes shirt, so.
Okay.
That sounds close enough.
Mr. $10 man, let me tell where you're bound. Drink your green liquor, Lord, you roll to the ground. Well, you come around here with your money in your hand. Taste of my woman. Where you die, where you stand. Well, Snake Mountain Blues got me down low, and I could die in the morning, ain't no one would know. Well, my woman, she come around, and my body she'd find. Go down to Dundee, have her a time. Daddy Lord, he rides on a long holy train. First wind's the winter, I'll see him again. And it's farewell to this yellow-headed misery I've known. Snake Mountain's calling, calling me home. Well, Snake Mountain blues got me down low, and I could die in the morning, ain't no one would know. Well, my woman, she come around, and my body she'd find. Go down to Dundee, have her a time. Have her a time.
Dude, thank you for indulging us.
Absolutely.
Me specifically. What's coming up next? You just had a gig at Rockwood here in New York last night, and some tour dates, Europe, the rest of the US coming up soon.
We are hopping on a red-eye flight over to London in the UK. We're going to do some shows over there. We're going to do some shows in Ireland, I believe, some stuff in Germany. I know we're doing Berlin, and a show in Amsterdam, I think, a few other shows in Holland. And then I think we'll probably come back stateside for some more shows in the southeast and kind of all around. So yeah, that's as far as I can remember what's up next, I think.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much for dropping by, playing a song or 3 or 4.
Right.
Debut record, self-titled record, out now. Colter Wall, thank you so much.
Thank you.